Welcome back to my Letterboxd Diary, where we take a look at the movies I saw in the past month, that being April. So without further ado, let's take a look at the movies I saw in April. First, I saw an exclusive screening of Monkey Man, 4 days before its release. I already talked about this in a review, so you can go check that out, but to put it simply, Monkey Man is a classic in the making. It's a very well-made film that mixes awesome action sequences with a realistic yet heartbreaking story of revenge and loss. It's an action thriller that's trying to stand out from the rest of the films. Coupled together with beautiful and fast-paced cinematography, great visual effects, and production design, along with its fantastic acting, Monkey Man is a film that needs to be watched in theaters. You don't want to miss out on this film. Next, I saw Smile in my cinema class. This was a really weird film to watch, and I'm gonna be honest here, I wasn't a big fan of it. It's really unique, that's for sure, but the acting is bland, the pacing is unnecessarily slow, and the story feels unfinished, as there are so many plot points that are left hanging with no explanation. While the jump scares are actually pretty cool and the effects set the creepy mood of the film, this just wasn't a movie that I was particularly impressed by. It's fine for what it is, it's a horror movie that's trying to be original, different, and unique, but it didn't hit home for me. But I'm sure others will enjoy this. Then I rewatched Shrek 2 in theaters for its re-release. Shrek 2 came back to theaters to celebrate its 20th anniversary, and I didn't want to miss out on this opportunity. The film still holds up, it's hilarious, colorful, and heartwarming. It's Shrek 2. It's a very fun film that is still a worthy sequel to the classic animated film. Next, I watched Goodnight Oppie in my cinema class. It's a documentary focusing on Opportunity, one of the 2 Mars rovers that explored Mars for over 15 years, more than the expected 90 souls. Honestly, there's not much I can say about this film since this is a documentary, but it's done really well, and the execution is told in a way where you can feel the genuine emotions these people have gone through. It's nothing groundbreaking or revolutionary, it's a well-made documentary with a lot of passion and love put into it. The film is mainly for all those space fans out there, but the film's score is phenomenal. I love the music for the film, it was shockingly good. Then I watched Civil War, and holy shit, oh my god, this film was insane. I'll keep this one short since you all have to go and watch this film for yourself, but this was such a thrilling experience to watch. A simple story with such an on-point execution. The film puts you in the middle of the story, making you feel like you're going along for the ride. The acting is fantastic, the cinematography is gorgeous and easily one of the best things about the film. The messages and themes are impactful yet feel way too real. The drama is well done and really emotional in some scenes, and the thriller moments are so chilling and tense. Even the shots of the guns will jump scare you from time to time, immersing you into the film. Also, the Jesse Plemons scene, Jesus, that scene alone was just terrifying to watch. Civil War is outstanding, and you should go see this film in theaters for the best experience possible. Next, I saw The Florida Project. This was a depressing film to watch. It tells the story of a young girl living in a budget motel with her unemployed single mother as she goes through on various summertime adventures with her friends and tries to make the most out of her surroundings while being oblivious to the troubles the adults, including her mother, are going through. I honestly love the pacing in this film. It's slow, but it's just the right amount of it to make some scenes feel emotional and heavy. The acting is great, with Willem Dafoe being the star of the show. His acting in this film is downright heartwarming, memorable, and likable. The cinematography is simple, yet does a great job of setting the story and the mood. The story is nothing grand, but has a ton of sad messages and themes that really shine due to the acting of the main cast, showcasing the sad and painful lives these people go through to try to not become homeless. This film has been on my radar due to me being intrigued by the idea of the story, and honestly, it didn't disappoint. It's another A24 movie that I enjoyed a lot, and I definitely recommend this one. Then I saw Late Night with the Devil, and oh my god, this was a literal masterpiece, like wow. It's about a talk show host who invites an allegedly possessed girl onto the show to boost his ratings, where a terrible nightmare is about to be unleashed. I absolutely loved how original and refreshing this is. It's a breath of fresh air. Das Malkian, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, delivered a one-of-a-kind performance that really made me appreciate him even more as an actor. He was not only entertaining and fun to watch, but he really brought his character to life with such charisma and emotion. The production design looked great, the visual and practical effects were awesome to see executed, and the overall presentation was really unique and genius. It's a clever way to present this unique kind of story in a way where it fits so well. The horror aspect is pretty chilling and downright disturbing. It's the type of horror that tries to happen when you least expect it. Late Night with the Devil was phenomenal. It's a horror film that really blew my mind away with its execution, acting, and presentation. If you're looking for a film that does something new and creative, especially if it's horror, this is a film you need to watch. Next, I saw Bob Marley One Love. Man, this was hella disappointing to watch. It focuses on the life of Bob Marley and how he was able to create a concert that would bring two political rivals together and create peace. This was genuinely boring, sadly. I don't know, maybe it was because I'm not a huge Bob Marley fan, or the movie itself just didn't have a great execution. The acting was honestly not bad, the cinematography was well done, and the soundtrack was amazing. Well, I mean, obviously, of course, because it's Bob Marley music, so yeah. However, the pacing felt unnecessarily slow in many scenes, making the scene go on for too long or just become too boring. I feel like the film played too safe with its political messages and themes, and I feel like they could have done better and gone beyond through it, explaining more on how important the lesson or message of the film is. This film had a ton of potential to be something good and emotional, but to me it fell flat with how they weren't able to show it. To me, I didn't enjoy Bob Marley One Love, sadly, but if you guys enjoyed it, good, I'm glad you did, but to me, it was simply disappointing. Then I rewatched Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem in my cinema class. The first time I saw this film was in theaters, and I enjoyed it for what it was. I wasn't going crazy about it, but I found it to be energetic and a ton of fun. The animation is stunning and unique, the acting is lively and full of energy, the comedy was pretty funny, albeit a bit awkward at some points. The cinematography was unique and made great use of its clever spots to create a nice action scenes, and the film's score was nothing short but perfect. But after watching it for the second time, I absolutely love this film now. Just everything about it made me appreciate the film even more. I honestly couldn't stop smiling while I was watching it. I'm not even a big fan of turtles, but this film was nothing short but outstanding. Next, I watched the Muppet movie for the first time ever, and I'm just surprised by how great it was. It has so much charm and it's so likable to watch. It's extremely entertaining, especially with its cast of characters, story, and comedy. The simplicity of its story works well in this film since this is like a story of how the Muppets all met. Well, kind of. The music surprised me the most. It was beautiful, and I loved Rainbow Connection. It was probably my favorite song in the soundtrack. I've had that song stuck in my head for almost a month now. And what makes this movie work really well is its charm. The Muppets are all wonderful characters with tons of personality, mixing that in with the heartwarming writing, genuine execution, and overall lighthearted mood. The Muppet movie feels like a movie that you honestly can't say anything bad about, because it's just so likable. It's fun, entertaining, catchy with its tunes, and just really sweet to watch. I myself am not even a big fan of the Muppets, yet I loved what I watched. If you still haven't seen the film, I think you guys would enjoy this, even if you're not a Muppet fan. Then I saw Blockers. I got bored one day and decided to watch this film, so cut me some slack. And to be honest, it wasn't that bad, focusing on three parents who are trying to stop their daughters from completing their sex pact on prom night. The comedy was a mixed bag, but at least most of the jokes were a hit due to its clever use of slapstick humor. The acting was overall decent, but the tone of the film was very inconsistent. Tons of the scenes forced themselves to be emotional and humorous at the same time, causing for some scenes to be executed pretty messy. The story is not bad, granted it's as simple as it can get, but I like the direction it took. It's a nice take on the classic sex pact story. What this film does is recreate a classic rated R sex flick and spice it up with unique ideas and concepts of comedy. Blockers isn't a bad film, far from it, but it does a decent job of creating a neat twist on the classic story, albeit with a few missteps along the way. Next, I watched Alien in theaters. This classic horror film was re-released in theaters to celebrate its 45th anniversary, and I went to see it not only to watch it in theaters, but because this re-release would be the first time I would ever watch this film. Yep, I've never seen this film before, and watching it in theaters was an incredible first-time experience. The atmosphere was so immersive, it was chilling and unpredictable. The set designs look incredibly detailed and heavily designed. The music is thrilling and sets the tone well. The acting by Sigourney Weaver was well done, and the overall pacing was just right. Alien is undoubtedly a horror classic, and you should definitely experience this film in theaters before it goes away, which I think it already went away, so too bad. Then I rewatched Blue Beetle in my cinema class. Not gonna lie, when I first watched this film, I considered it to be the best DC movie I've ever seen. Rewatching it now, man, there are some problems that are noticeable. The comedy is not bad, but it's hugely exaggerated to the point where it becomes really stupid to watch. The acting is honestly pretty good, especially by Zolo Manaduena and Barisa Escobedo, along with Damian Alcazar's emotional performance as Jamie's father. But man, George Lopez in this film, oh my god, he was terrible. To the point where his character becomes really annoying, along with the grandma character. Just those two characters were just badly written. The visuals aren't too bad, but you can tell that this is made on a lower budget, so some scenes will not look great. The action is quite fun, and the main message of family is executed really emotional and relatable. Blue Beetle is not a perfect or amazing film, but it does a good job of focusing on the strong aspect of family, making some emotional scenes powerful. It's not the best, but it's still a decent watch. Next, I watched Chaplin. This is a film based on the life of Charlie Chaplin, and I absolutely enjoyed this film a lot. The presentation is what really made me like the film. It presents itself in a way where it tries to mimic a Chaplin movie, complete with fast-paced slapstick comedy and an old-timey style of editing. Robert Downey Jr. did a fantastic job as Charlie, really capturing his comedic style of movement and his strong dedication. The overall cast did well, and I personally found much of the emotional aspects of Chaplin's life to be done beautifully, and the film does a great job showcasing his story. The reason I saw this film was because I was bored, and I didn't know what to watch, and this caught my interest, so I'm glad I saw this one. It's a well-made biographical film that has a ton of passion within. It's funny, heartwarming, and painstakingly emotional. It's a film that genuinely surprised me. Then I watched House. This is an experimental horror film about a group of girls visiting one of the girls' aunt's house where chaos and horrors are about to be unleashed onto the girls. The presentation of the film is really colorful, but the film treats itself more hectic and energetic rather than presenting itself as unsettling and terrifying. But that's the charm. Its unique horror has a certain charm that makes itself feel memorable. The use of practical effects was just simply fantastic. I love how much practical effects are used throughout the film, especially with how it's being used in the climax. But the film is really cheesy, especially with its story and acting. It's not bad by all means, but you have to understand how this film is being executed with its fast pacing. The soundtrack though is absolutely phenomenal, being performed by Godiego. I'm hoping I pronounced that right. It's a unique twist of pop and rock with its vocal music, but its score is more themed to blues, creating a slower and darker atmosphere. The music definitely created a great ambience, especially when it focuses more on some of the horror aspects. This movie is absolutely insane and over the top. It's a horror film that's unlike anything I've ever seen before. Finally, we ended the month off with Spy X Family Code White, and honestly, what a fantastic film to end the month off. To be honest, I was worried that the film would be an extended episode of the anime that I could just be watching on my TV, but luckily it wasn't. The film was made for the theaters. The action was cinematic and fast-paced, and the climax was easily the best part of the film, showcasing how big of a scale the movie is trying to capture a cinematic experience. The story is cute. Of course, it's not going to impact the series in any way possible, but it's a good way to make a movie-sized film with this kind of story. The animation got a huge boost thanks to it being a movie with stunning colors and fast motions with cinematography. The comedy was funny, although there was one joke in the climax that was dragged on for way too long, making it very awkward to watch. Everything else was simply entertaining to watch, as I had a smile on my face throughout the film. This is how you take an anime series and bring it to the big screen with its own film. The team did a fantastic job, and I highly recommend watching this movie in theaters before it leaves, and I think it already left theaters right now, so too bad again. And that was my Letterboxd Diary of April 2024. Very close to the same amount of movies I watched last month, which surprised me considering the amount of movies I used to watch before was like 3 to 4 movies per month, so yeah, that's crazy to see. I really liked the films I saw this month. Smile and Bob Marley were probably the most disappointing films that I saw, but at the very least, most of the films I saw this month were pretty entertaining and downright fun to watch. But overall, I would say Late Night with the Devil and Monkey Man were my personal favorite films that I watched in April. Now, what am I going to watch this month in May? Well, I mean, it's already going to be May something by the time I release this, so I'll probably watch everything that I wanted to watch this month. Well, I did score myself an AMC Studs A-List subscription, so you know I'm heading to the theaters a lot more this month. But for May, I'm planning to watch I Saw the TV Glow, Challengers, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, If, the Garfield movie, Jim Henson's Idea Man, just to name a few. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this month's Letterboxd Diary, and stay tuned for the next one. Like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you all later.